After weeks of failed negotiations, the Writers Guild of America has announced they're now on strike. The news hardly comes as a surprise, like much of America's shrinking to non-existent middle class, Hollywood writers, the ones who make The Flash go Zoom and Young Sheldon go Bazinga, have for years discussed the lousy deal they've received in the streaming era. Many of their concerns center around creating a gig economy in the wake of tech's takeover of the entertainment business. According to a statement from the WGA, picketing will begin tomorrow. In a statement, the Writers Guild said, "We have not reached an agreement with the studios and streamers, and we will be on strike after the contract expires at midnight." The WGA negotiating committee spent the last 6 weeks negotiating with Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Disney, Discovery Warner, NBC Universal, Paramount and Sony under the umbrella of the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMPTP. Over the course of the negotiation, we explained how the company's business practices have slashed our compensation and residuals and undermined our working conditions. Our chief negotiator, as well as writers on the committee, made clear to the studio's labor representatives that we are determined to achieve a new contract with fair pay that reflects the value of our contribution to company success and includes protections to ensure that writing survives as a sustainable profession. We advocated on behalf of members across all sectors: features, episodic television, and comedy variety and other non-primetime programs, by giving them facts, concrete examples, and reasonable solutions. Guild members demonstrated collective resolve and support of the agenda with a 97.85% strike authorization. Though we negotiated intent on making a fair deal, and though your strike vote gave us the leverage to make some gains, the studio's responses to our proposals have been wholly insufficient, given the existential crisis writers are facing. The company's behavior has created a gig economy inside a union workforce, and their immovable stance in this negotiation has betrayed a commitment to further devaluing the profession of writing. From their refusal to guarantee any level of weekly employment in episodic television, to the creation of a day rate in comedy variety, to their stonewalling on free work for screenwriters. On AI for all writers, they have closed the door on their labor force and opened the door to writing as an entirely freelance profession, and no such deal could ever be contemplated by this membership. Therefore, earlier today the negotiating committee unanimously rejected the AMPTP's final offer before deadline and recommended to the WGAW Board and WGAE Council the issuance of a strike order. Based on that recommendation, the Board and Council unanimously voted to strike after the current MBA's expiration at midnight tonight. Television and movie writers are going on strike for the first time in 15 years in a dispute over fair pay in the streaming era. Negotiations between studios and the writers, which began in March, failed to reach a new contract before the writers' current deal expired. All script writing is to immediately cease, the Guild informed its members, and the dispute could hit TV and film productions depending on how long the strike lasts. Late-night U.S. talk shows such as Jimmy Kimmel Live and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon are expected to go dark immediately and air reruns. Next to be disrupted could be daytime soap operas, since they are traditionally written not long before they are filmed. Primetime comedies and dramas currently on air should be able to wrap up seasons uninterrupted. Their episodes for the coming weeks will have already been written and filmed. Netflix, which makes shows around the world, has said it can feed its service with shows produced outside the U.S., but its U.S.-based series will be affected if a strike drags on. The board of directors for the WGA, which includes both a West and an East branch, voted unanimously to call for a strike. The company's behavior has created a gig economy inside a union workforce, and their immovable stance in this negotiation has betrayed a commitment to further devaluing the profession of writing, the WGA said in a statement. From their refusal to guarantee any level of weekly employment in episodic television, to the creation of a day rate in comedy variety, to their stonewalling on free work for screenwriters and on AI for all writers, they have closed the door on their labor force and opened the door to writing as an entirely freelance profession. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMPTP, the trade association that bargains on behalf of studios and production companies, said negotiations fell short of an agreement before the current contract expired. In a statement, the AMPTP said it was prepared to improve its offer, but was unwilling to do so because of the magnitude of other proposals still on the table that the Guild continues to insist upon. Writers say they have suffered financially during the streaming TV boom, in part due to shorter seasons and smaller residual payments. They are seeking pay increases and changes to industry practices that they say force them to work more for less money. The way that it's looking now is that there won't be a middle class in Hollywood, said Caroline Renard, a WGA liaison and writer who has worked on Disney Channel's Secrets of Sulphur Springs and other shows. Artificial intelligence is another issue at the bargaining table, and the WGA wants safeguards to prevent studios from using AI to generate new scripts from writers' previous work. Writers also want to ensure they are not asked to rewrite draft scripts created by AI. The negotiations take place against a difficult economic backdrop for the industry. Entertainment conglomerates are under pressure from Wall Street to make streaming services profitable, after investing billions of dollars in content to attract subscribers. If a strike is called, late-night shows such as The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live, which use teams of writers to craft topical jokes, are expected to immediately stop production. Netflix may be insulated from any immediate impact because of its global focus and access to far-flung production facilities outside the U.S. The contract between the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers ends tonight, and if the two cannot come to an agreement, Hollywood writers say they'll strike. The AMPTP, which represents Comcast Corp., Disney, Warner Bros. Discovery, Netflix and hundreds of production companies, has said it is committed to reaching a fair agreement. They are seeking pay increases and changes to industry practices that they say force them to work more for less money. The way that it's looking now is that there won't be a middle class in Hollywood, said Caroline Renard, a WGA liaison and writer who has worked on Disney Channel's Secrets of Sulphur Springs and other shows.